In this WeWork SoftBank situation, it's hard for me to find anybody to feel bad for because SoftBank notoriously encouraged Neumann and other entrepreneurs to take these outsized risks. Neumann is, famously enriched himself through WeWork in this entire situation, and now he's crying abuse of power. What's your take?
The only people I feel bad for are us, because eventually it'll be over. We won't have it to talk about anymore. It is fully a soap opera. Setting aside SoftBank's defense, we don't know what it's going to be aside from their quote, which is effectively the agreement allows us to do this. Neumann's case, just on its face, the arguments he's making are, my company failed. I made a deal for a tender offer conditioned on some operating conditions, the sale of the company in China, or the consolidation of the company in China, lawsuits going away. And then I handed operating control of the company to SoftBank, and then they made sure that those operating conditions weren't met. That is as brave as it gets in terms of going to court and saying, I trusted them and they screwed me, when this soap opera clouds the entire case. And look, I was not a great lawyer in my previous life, but I was good enough to know that going to court and saying, I trusted them, but the contract let them do it, is not usually a winning argument.
Yeah, Nilay, this reminds me of two other deals. Darth Vader's deal with Lando Calrissian in Cloud City and the L Brand Sycamore deal more recently. I guess when conditions change, sometimes the deal changes, and conditions have certainly changed over the past few months.
Yeah, I think the best part of the case is saying the motivation is that the company is in deteriorating financial shape during the COVID. Well, of course. And I think at this point to say we're a real estate company, most of our clients aren't paying rent, the economy is in tatters around the world. I still want my $1 billion that I was given as a gift to just go away. Is a remarkable position for Adam Neumann to be in, especially when he had another deal on the table, right? The bailout from SoftBank was not his only option. He also had an option to go with JP Morgan Chase. The SoftBank deal was more favorable because of that $1 billion bailout. That's why he took it. They also extended him a $500 million line of credit in order to pay off his obligations. He took the deal more personally favorable to him, and then he got screwed on it. I think a court's going to look at this and say, well, you had another option. It was a little more direct, maybe a little bit more locked down, and not up against Masa-san, who you know is an operator. So you took this deal, and I think a court's going to say, what is the point of this lawsuit? You want another $1 billion for trashing this company? It is impossible to remove that context.
Yeah, Nilay, I wonder how much of this is really SoftBank and WeWork specific, or even you could say commercial real estate specific, versus indicative of the broader sentiment we're seeing in the private market right now. And I ask that in part because you've got digital bank N26 just raised money, biotech RWDC Industries just raised money. You've got reports that Uber's in talks to lead a funding round for Lime right now as well. Mind you, we're talking about lower valuations, but how much is the pain in the WeWork SoftBank saga playing out and trickling out to other parts of the market?
I think the businesses you described are potentially real businesses, and they are companies that have business models that they think they can support. Lime is going through some big changes, right? They're cutting their costs in various ways. But ultimately, micromobility, scooter rentals, potentially a very good business, especially if you can capture an enormous amount of the market, which is kind of what it's conditioned on. So you raise money, you capture more of the market. When things come back, potentially you own the entire market and you have a good business there. Biotech, similarly, I think there's a lot of action in the biotech space, potentially have a good business there. WeWork was not a well-run business. And I think it's impossible for the court to look at a founder who licensed the name of the company back to his company for millions of dollars and then only canceled the deal when he got caught and say, this was a good business. And I think it's all of us should look at it and say, this is actually chaos. I don't know how much it reflects the market. I think what you have is a founder and a CEO who is fully out of control, and a company that's trying to rein him back in SoftBank, and just a titanic clash of egos about who promised who what.